Ito naman guys, noong March 2, 2026, yung initial consideration ng impeachment complaint Duterte, yung tatlo na final sa kanya. Tatlo ba? Wait lang. Hindi ko check natin. Yung apat, itong filed by Francisca Castro, Arlene Brosas, Liza Masa, Atty. Nery Colmenares, Renato Reyes Jr. et al. At inendorso ni Antonio Ertino, Sara Ilago at Rene Luis M. Co. Tapos filed by Francis Joseph Aquino D. et al. Tapos inendorso ni Laila de Lima at si Fathers Joel Sabala et al. At inendorso ni Laila de Lima at ni Attorney Nathaniel Cabrera na inendorso ni Benvenido M. Abante Jr. at Paulo P. Ortega V. Pero yung pagkakaalam ko, itong article, yung dalawa na lang yung kinonsider dito kasi winidraw nila yung dalawa. Bale, dalawa na lang yung dinidinig ngayon sa impeachment. Ito ay reply lamang guys. Kung kayo ay interesado na manood, maraming salamat at paki-like yung ating live stream. Maya-maya lang ay magsisimula na ang Committee on Justice sa House of Representatives March 2. Replay lang to guys, replay. Ito naman yung impeachment ni Sara Duterte. Mas malala. Tapos bukas yung February.
We are requesting everyone to kindly stand up for our opening prayer, to be followed by the singing of the national anthem.
President Marcos.
Let's put ourselves in the presence of our Lord. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Lord, Almighty God, source of all truth, justice, and wisdom, we humbly come before you at the opening of this meeting of the Committee on Justice. We acknowledge, O Lord, the solemn duty entrusted to us by the Constitution and by the people we serve. As we take up matters of grave national consequence, particularly the impeachment complaint, we ask for your guiding presence among us. Grant us clarity of mind, integrity of heart, and courage of conscience. May we be guided not by passion, prejudice, or personal interest, but by a steadfast commitment to truth, fairness, and the rule of law. Help us to listen with open minds, to speak with prudence and respect, and to deliberate with sobriety befitting the seriousness of our task. Remind us always that our actions today will shape public trust in our institutions and the future of our democracy. May we be instruments of justice, not vengeance, of accountability, not division, and of peace, not of discord. We entrust our proceedings to you, O God, and ask that your wisdom prevail in all our decisions for the good of the Filipino people and the honor of our nation. All this we ask in humble reliance on your guidance. Amen. Sa silipin, sa langit mo, may nilatang tula at awit sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang pag-awat ko'y tagbay sa nagdidibdib. Ang bituin at ako na kailan pa may magdidibdib. Matay ng dahil sa'yo. Awkward. Today's committee meeting is hereby called to order. The committee secretariat is directed to call the roll of members. Thank you, Your Honor. Roll call of the meeting of the members of the Committee on Justice. Honorable Attorney Jervil Jinky Betrix R. Luistro. Honorable Mauricio G. Dumogan. Honorable Attorney Danilo Dani A. Domingo. Honorable Jennifer A. Lagbas. Honorable Alfredo A. Jr. Honorable Brian Poe. Honorable Jose C. Alvarez. Honorable Jonathan Kit T. Flores. Honorable Isabel Maria J. Zamora. Present. Honorable Aniela Bianca D. Tolentino. Honorable Laarni Lavin Roque. Honorable Franz Vincent F. Legaspi. Honorable Emilio P. Tanuatco III. Honorable King George Leandro Antonio V. Collantes. Honorable Ana York P. Bondoc. Honorable Loreto S. Amante. Honorable Jose Joboy S. Aquino II. Honorable Joel R. Chua. Honorable Ernesto M. Junicio Jr. Honorable Arnan C. Panaligan. Honorable Lordan G. Suwan. Honorable Patrick Michael D. Vargas. Honorable Emerson D. Pascual. Honorable Munir M. Arbison. Honorable Janice Degamo. Honorable Bienvenido M. Abante Jr., Honorable Jude A. Asidre, Honorable Bernadette S. Barbers, Honorable Rufus B. Rodriguez, Honorable Chino Miguel D. Almario, Honorable Micaela Angela B. Swansing, Honorable Ramon Rodrigo L. Gutierrez, Honorable Maria Rene Ann Lourdes G. Matibag, Honorable John Attorney J.P. Padiernos, Honorable Terry L. Ridon, Honorable Alan U.T., Honorable Rene Luis M. Co., Honorable Jose Manuel Tadeo Chel I. Diokno, Honorable Sara Z. Elago, Honorable Francisco Paulo P. Ortega V, Honorable Jefferson F. Ponghun, Honorable Gil Cabarangay Jr. Acosta, Honorable Jose Bong J. Teves Jr., Honorable Edgar R. Erice, Honorable Laila M. De Lima, and Honorable Percy Sendanya. Your Honor, there are 14 regular members of the committee present and 7 ex officio members present. Having 14 present regular members and 7 present ex officio members, the rule requiring only 1/5 of the membership and the ex officio to be present to constitute a quorum. The chair now declares the presence of a quorum. The chair will address the Justice Committee. Today, March 2, we convene the Committee on Justice to discharge a solemn constitutional duty. That is to begin our consideration of 4 impeachment complaints filed against the Vice President of the Republic. Just last week, all 4 complaints were simultaneously referred to this committee. Under the Constitution, it is the exclusive mandate of this committee to hear these matters and by a majority vote of all its members, submit a report to the House. That mandate is not optional. It is not seasonal. It is not subject to fatigue. It is a duty. And constitutional duties do not expire simply because public discourse grows weary. Some have asked, are we not tired of impeachment? Hindi ba tayo napapagod? Admittedly, we have undergone impeachment proceedings against the Vice President last year. And early this year, we also evaluated complaints against the President. So yes, public fatigue may be understandable. But the answer, my dear colleagues, is simple. The Constitution does not get tired. The rule of law does not get tired. Accountability does not get tired. If an impeachment complaint is filed and referred to this committee, we must examine it. There is no option to ignore these complaints. And as I said a while ago, we must fulfill this duty. No condition, no hesitation, walang palusot. Hindi tayo maaaring umiwas. Hindi maaaring umurong. Hindi maaaring magbulag-bulagan. Ang tungkulin ay hindi pinipili. Ito ay ginagampanan. Lalo na ngayong panahon na laganap ang fake news, mas lalo tayong dapat maging maingat at matatag. Mas lalong hindi magpapatinag. Kapag kumakalat ang fake news, hindi sapat ang manahimik. Ang tamang sagot ay wastong proseso. Ang kailangan natin ay simulan itong proseso ng pagsusuri. Nang sa gayon ay magkaroon tayo ng linaw at hindi maligaw sa maling impormasyon. So let me say this clearly. Impeachment is a constitutional process, not a social media contest. Hindi hashtag ang magpapasya dito. Hindi memes ang maghahatol. Hindi ito paramihan ng like. There are claims circulating that these impeachment complaints are merely recycled accusations already dismissed by the Supreme Court. Let us correct that firmly and factually. The Supreme Court did not rule on the merits of the allegations. It did not conduct a trial. It did not weigh evidence. It did not absolve anyone of wrongdoing. The court itself clarified that its ruling was limited to the constitutional one-year bar rule. It emphasized that it did not
absolve the Vice President from any of the charges. Those are not my words. Those are the Supreme Court's own clarifications. To suggest, therefore, that the allegations have already been resolved on the merits is legally incorrect. Malinaw sa desisyon ng Korte Suprema na naging pasya nito ay nakatuon lamang sa one-year bar rule. Isang usaping teknikal. Hindi ito paghatol sa nilalaman ng mga reklamo. Hindi ito deklarasyon na walang sala ang Vice Presidente. And let us confront the larger question. If we decline to proceed simply because of Supreme Court's ruling or just because of all the noise, how are we to hold the highest officials of the land accountable? Kung hindi tayo gagalaw ngayon, paano natin pananagutin ang mga pinakamataas na opisyal ng bansa? The Constitution provides only one mechanism for addressing serious allegations against impeachable officials, and that is by way of impeachment. Iyan ang itinakdang proseso. Iyan ang malinaw na landas. There is no alternative forum, no parallel mechanism, no detour, no easy way out. If we refuse to properly examine the impeachment complaints before us, we are instability. We are weakening accountability. So, my dear colleagues, let us discharge this duty. Walang shortcut. Walang paunang paghuhusga. Tanging katapatan lamang sa saligang batas. Now, 4 impeachment complaints have been filed and simultaneously referred to this committee. The first complaint consists of 43 pages and bears signatures of 45 complainants, with Francisca Franz Castro listed first. It cites 3 grounds for impeachment, all framed as betrayal of public trust. It was endorsed by Representative Antonio Tino, Representative Sara Jane Ilago, and Representative Rene Luis Co. The second impeachment spans 41 pages, signed by 17 complainants. First among them, Francis Joseph Aquino D. It presents 5 grounds for impeachment, structured as Articles 1 through 5. It was endorsed by Representative Percival Sendanya and Representative Laila De Lima. The third complaint, it runs 98 pages, signed by 13 complainants, with Reverend Father Joel Sabalia appearing first. It alleges 6 grounds for impeachment and was endorsed by Representative Laila De Lima. The fourth impeachment complaint. It consists 72 pages, filed by a single complainant, Attorney Nathaniel Cabrera. It sets out 7 articles of impeachment and was endorsed by Representative Bienvenido Abante Jr. and Deputy Speaker Francisco Paulo Ortega V. Our task now is to discharge our duties, to examine, to scrutinize, and to evaluate these 4 impeachment complaints. Ang tungkulin natin ngayon ay malinaw. Suriin ang patas at may integridad ang bawat reklamo. Today, We begin with sufficiency in form. At this stage, we are not weighing evidence. We are not determining guilt. We are simply asking procedural questions. Are the complaints properly verified? Do they comply with the requirements under the Constitution and the rules on impeachment? Are they properly endorsed? Do they meet the formal thresholds required to proceed? Esteemed colleagues, this requires discipline. We must read thoroughly. We must review carefully. We must ensure that every requirement is met before any complaint moves forward. Ito ay hakbang na tila teknikal, ngunit napakahalaga. Sa bawat dokumentong sinusuri, nakasalalay ang kredibilidad at integridad ng buong proseso. If any of these complaints are found sufficient in form, the committee will then proceed in subsequent hearings to determine sufficiency in substance or whether the allegations constitute impeachable offenses under the Constitution. However, this is important. The allegations must not only be assumed true, they must also be credible on their face. In other words, impeachment cannot be built on rumor. It must stand on allegations that are serious, specific, and constitutionally anchored. For this process, we will proceed methodically. We will proceed transparently. We will proceed fairly. At higit sa lahat, tayo ay kikilos ng naaayon sa saligang batas. We owe that to the complainants whose claims will be scrutinized. We owe that to the Vice President who will have the chance to respond and clear her name. We owe that to the Filipino people who have a right to know the truth, to see justice done, and to hold their leaders accountable. Let me say this clearly. No one is above the Constitution. Not the President, not the Vice President, not the Senate, not the House of Representatives. So today, we begin calmly, carefully, constitutionally. The Committee on Justice is now in session to determine the sufficiency in form of all 4 impeachment complaints versus the Vice President. Let the record show that we proceed not in anger, not in haste, but in fidelity to the Constitution, to the sovereign Filipino people. Maraming salamat po. Before we proceed, we are requesting Honorable Vice Chair to read the ground rules in our today's proceedings. The Honorable Bel Zamora.
Good morning, everyone. Quick reminders lang po. May 39 regular members tayo sa komite. Ang quorum ay 1/5. Ibig sabihin, 8 miyembro ng komite ang kailangan. Ex-officio members, namely the Speaker, Deputy Leaders at Deputies, at ang Chairperson ng Committee on Accounts ay kasama sa bilang may boses at may boto. Kung mayroong miyembro na may gustong sabihin, makipag-ugnayan lang sa committee secretary para maisama kayo sa listahan. Magsasalita ng miyembro ng minorya at mayorya at may 5 minuto ang bawat gustong magsalita. Sisikapin natin na unahin ang miyembro ng minorya na susundan ng miyembro ng mayorya sa kanilang pahayag. Kung meron lalabis sa 5 minuto, pagbibigyan natin sila sa second round. And finally, please wait for the chair to recognize you before speaking. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Zamora. Now we will proceed to hear the speeches of the endorsers of the 4 impeachment complaints. To begin with, for the first impeachment complaint, which we will be referring as Castro impeachment complaint, we're requesting the endorsers, the Honorable Tino, the Honorable Co, and the Honorable Ilago.
Madam Chair, may I proceed?
You may proceed, Honorable Tino.
Maraming salamat, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, mga kinatawan at mga kababayan. Noong July 2022, kakapanalo pa lang ng UN sa pambansang eleksyon. Bago pa man uminit ang kanyang upuan, humingi na agad si Vice President Sara Duterte ng confidential funds sa Malacanang. Sa kabila ito ng katotohanan ayon sa tradisyon at batas, walang CF, confidential funds, ang Office of the Vice President at lalong walang CF ang Department of Education. Ngunit, dahil panahon pa yun ng UNITEAM, ang alyansang binuo para sa pag-isa ng ticket ng Marcos at Duterte, hinugot ng Pangulo ang 125 million pesos mula sa kanyang discretionary fund, yung tinatawag na contingent fund, para ibigay sa kanyang bise. Noong December 20, 2022, inisyu ng DBM ang cheque sa Office of the Vice President. At sa loob lamang ng 11 araw, sa gitna ng Pasko at Bagong Taon, inulat ng OVP na simot na ang 125 million pesos. 125 milyong piso nilustay sa loob ng 11 araw. Insulto ito sa milyon-milyong Pilipinong nagkukumahog araw-araw para lamang may maihain sa kanilang hapagkainan. Hambog na pananahimik at pag-iwas o asal pusit ang naging tugon ni Vice President Sara Duterte nang usisahin ito ni ACT Teachers Representative Franz Castro na ngayon ay complainant na noong 2023 budget deliberations. Ngunit, hindi masusupil ang katotohanan. Ang Commission on Audit mismo ang naglabas ng Notice of Disallowance para sa 73 million na pondo ng CF. At sa pagpapatuloy ng investigasyon ng Kamara, tumambad ang mas malawak na anomalya. Aabot sa 612.5 million ang kabuuang CF o confidential fund ng OVP at DepEd na nakabalot ng duda mula 2022 hanggang 2023. Nakakita tayo ng mga dubious accomplishment reports at mga peking resibo. Sino ang makakalimot kay Mary Grace Piatos? Isang pangalang hindi matatagpuan sa kahit anong record ng gobyerno, ngunit ginamit para pirmahan ang paglabas ng pondo ng bayan. Ito ay isang malinaw na panloloko at pambabastos sa proseso ng audit. Batay sa mga ebidensyang ito, maliwanag na dapat ma-impeach si Vice President Sara Duterte sa batayan ng betrayal of public trust dahil sa sumusunod. Una, gross abuse of discretionary powers sa paggamit ng mahigit 612.5 million na pondo. Pangalawa, gross disregard of transparency and accountability sa pamamagitan ng pag-utos sa mga tauhan niya na gumawa ng mga peking dokumento, accomplishment reports at resibo. At pangatlo, dereliction of official duty dahil sa harap-harap at paulit-ulit na pagtanggi sa oversight powers ng Kongreso. Sa harap ng mga akusasyong ito, ano ang naging tugon ng Vice Presidente? Paiba-iba, pabago-bago. Noong una, sinabi niyang ginamit daw ang confidential fund para sa national security at counter-insurgency dahil magkaugnay daw ang national security at education. Nang magbitiw na siya sa gabi, sabi niyang ginamit daw ang pondo para imbestigahan ang anomalous laptop deal sa DepEd na tagumpay o outstanding accomplishment. Ang tanging markang iniiwan niya sa kanyang unang pagkakataon sa ikalawang pinakamataas na opisina ay ang pinakamalaking anomalya sa confidential funds sa kasaysayan ng bansa. Hindi politika ang paniningil sa 612.5 million na pisong winaldas na pondo. Hindi politika ang na hustisya para sa mga guro, estudyante at mamamayan na pinagkaitan ng edukasyon at ibang serbisyo dahil dinala ang poldo sa winaldas na confidential fund. Ang tunay na politika, pamumulitika, ay ang paggamit ng posisyon para protektahan ang sarili mula sa pananagutan. Public office is a public trust. At kapag ang tiwalang yan ay nilapastangan, kapag ang kaban ng bayan ay ginawang personal na piggy bank, wala nang ibang nararapat na hatol kundi ang pagpapatalsik. Kaya dapat siyang ma-impeach. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Honorable Tino. Before we proceed, we would like to acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable David J.C. Suarez, Honorable Deputy Speaker Virginel G. Biron, Honorable Congressman Emilio B. Tanwatco III from the 2nd District of Rizal, Honorable Congresswoman Janice Degamo from the 3rd District of Negros Oriental, Honorable Congressman John Attorney J.P. Padiernos from GP, galing sa Puso Party List, Honorable Congresswoman Maria Alana Samantha Talino Santos from the 3rd District of Cotabato, and ultimately Honorable Congressman Robert Nasal from BH Party List. Thank you all for coming. Now we proceed to hear the sponsorship speech for the 2nd impeachment complaint. This is referred to as Francisco Aquino D. et al. Impeachment complaint. Our endorsers, of course, are Honorable Congresswoman De Lima.
Madam Chair.
Where's that? Honorable Reneco.
Madam Chair, may the committee allow the endorsers, this representation and Representative Sara Ilago, to also provide an endorsement speech or
Alright.
first impeachment
Before we
complaint?
proceed to the 2nd impeachment complaint, we are recognizing the Honorable Co for her impeachment sponsorship speech of the 1st impeachment complaint. You're recognized, Honorable Co.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, mga kapwa ko mambabatas at sa mga mamayang Pilipino, isang tarungang araw po sa ating lahat. Muli tayong naririto ngayon upang talakayin ang isa na namang impeachment complaint mula sa taong bayan. Isang reklamong inihain ng 45 individual mula sa iba't ibang sektor ng ating lipunan para sa impeachment ng pangalawang Pangulong si Vice President Sara Duterte. Hindi na ito bagong usapin. Noong nakaraang Kongreso, isa ako sa mahigit 70 na complainant na naghain ng isang reklamo laban kay VP Sara. Sa kasamaang palad, hindi nadinig ang aming impeachment complaint at nahulog na lamang ang usapin ng impeachment sa mga teknikalidad. Kaya hindi na umusad ang proseso hanggang sa ganap na pagpapanagot kay VP Sara Duterte.
Ngayon muli akong nasa inyong harapan, hindi na bilang complainant, kundi bilang kinatawan ng kabataan at isa sa 3 miyembro ng Kamara na nag-endorso ng panibagong verified impeachment complaint na nagsasaad ng parehong batayan para matanggal si VP Sara sa kanyang pwesto, ang kanyang pagtataksil sa tiwala ng publiko o betrayal of public trust. To refresh, Madam Chair, ayon sa Korte Suprema, sa Gonzales III versus Office of the President, ang betrayal of public trust ay maituturing na gross faithlessness against public mechanical abuse of power, inexcusable negligence of duty, favoritism, gross exercise of discretionary powers, at iba pa. Mga gawain na nakakayurak sa interes ng publiko at nakakasira sa reputasyon ng opisina. Madam Chair, sa nagdaang mga buwan at taon, mula pa noong 19th Congress hanggang ngayon, it has remained clear to us that Vice President Sara Duterte has betrayed public trust, and for that reason, the people are once more charging her with the same through this impeachment complaint. Ano-ano mga ginawa niya na may tuturing na betrayal of public trust? Madam Chair, 3 po ang nakita nating mga kagagawan or 3 acts. Now, to summarize just very briefly, number 1, inabuso ni VP Sara Duterte ang kabuuang halaga ng 612.5 million pesos of confidential funds sa OVP at sa Department of Education mula noong 2022 hanggang 2023. Breaking it down, that's 125 million pesos in 11 days back in December of 2022, and another 375 million pesos in the OVP and 112.5 million pesos in the Department of Education in 2023. Hindi pa rin nasasagot hanggang ngayon kung paano ginastos ang pondong ito, na kahit confidential in nature ay questionable o kaduda-duda pa rin sa pamantayan ng gobyerno. Pangalawa, kaugnay sa pagiging kaduda-duda, isiniwalang bahala din ni VP Sara Duterte ang mga prinsipyo ng transparency and accountability dahil direkta niyang may mga inutos sa kanyang mga tauhan ang paggawa ng mga gawa-gawang dokumento at accomplishment reports kuno para pagmukhaing may pinatutunguhan ang limpak-limpak na pondo na nilaan sa kanyang opisina. Dito natin natimbog ang mga katulad ni Mary Grace Piatos at iba pang peking pangalan na tumanggap umano ng confidential funds. At panghuli, inabandona ni VP Sara Duterte ang kanyang tungkulin bilang halal na opisyal dahil binasta-basta niya ang otoridad at responsibilidad ng Kongreso na imbestigahan ang budget ng kanyang opisina. Sa mga sumunod na panahon, habang dinidinig ng Kamara ang budget ng OVP, mula umabsent sa budget hearings at umiwas sa pagsagot sa mga tanong na nagsisiyasat sa kung paano ginastos ang milyong-milyong piso at magkano rin ang dapat ilaan mga susunod na taon given yung track record ng spending. Madam Chair, anong ehemplo at mensahe ba ang pinapakita nito sa kabataan? Na ang pondo na dapat napupunta sa edukasyon, sa pagde-develop ng kabataan, ay nilustay ng dapat namumuno nito? Hindi po katanggap-tanggap. Madam Chair, sinaad po natin itong lahat sa reklamong naglalahad ng mga alegasyon o facts constituting betrayal of public trust. Ang complainants ay sumumpa din na nakabase sa personal knowledge or authentic records ang mga nilalaman ng reklamo. Sufficient in form and substance therefore ang reklamo, kaya wala pong rason kung bakit hindi dapat ito tumuloy-tuloy sa hearing proper. Higit pa sa mga teknikal na kahingian, matagal nang hinahanap ng taong bayan ang pananugutan ni VP Sara Duterte sa kanyang mga ginawa na nakadetalye sa mga reklamong nakahain laban sa kanya ngayon. Malinaw ang ang panawagan ng taong bayan. Ituloy ang proseso ng impeachment hanggang tuluyan siyang mapanagot. Kaya nung simula hanggang ngayon, hanggang dulo, this representation and the Filipino youth will be here, laying down the truth and clamoring for justice, hanggang makamit natin ang pananagutan at pustisyang deserve ng mamamayang Pilipino. Dito po nakataya ang kinabukasan namin. Papalagpasin ba ng kamarang ito ang mga malalim at maraming alegasyon ng korupsyon? O magiging masusi sa pag-imbestiga at syempre ituloy-tuloy ito hanggang makamit yung tunay na pananagutan? Madam Chair, this impeachment has been long overdue. So allow me to reiterate, bilang mga mambabatas, hindi dapat tayo matakot na ungkatin ang katotohanan at panagutin ang mga nasa katungkulan.
Ang hiling ng kinatawang ito, that the Filipino people who suffered from disasters and lacking basic social services because of misuse and abuse of public funds see their day in court. Let the Filipino people repose their trust in a public office that deserves it and does not betray it. It is no surprise that the following call has saturated the streets nationwide in the past weeks. Marcos Duterte, walang pinag-iba, parehong kurakot, pahirap sa masa. And so we, the Filipino youth, echo the call of the people. Lahat ng kurakot, dapat managot mula sa baba hanggang sa tuktok. Thank you, Madam Chair, for your indulgence, and I also wish to extend the same courtesy to also my fellow co-endorser, Representative Sara Elago. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Con. Now we recognize the Honorable Sara Elago.
Maraming
May proceed.
salamat, Madam Chair. At isang makabayan at palaban na pagbati sa lahat. Ang Gabriela Women's Party ay buong paninindigang iniendorso ang Castro et al. Verified impeachment complaint laban kay Vice President Sara Duterte. Ayon sa verified impeachment complaint, batay sa betrayal of public trust at batay sa mga dokumento at testimonya sa mga pagdinig kung saan nalantad ang paggamit ng confidential at intelligence funds, malinaw na ang Vice Presidente ay may buong otoridad, may buong kaalaman sa pagpapalabas, paggamit at pag-uulat ng mga pondong ito. At kung may otoridad, may kaakibat na ganap na pananagutan. Malinaw na batayan ng betrayal of public trust ang pang-aabuso sa diskresyon sa 612.5 million na confidential funds mula December 22 hanggang third quarter ng 2023. Sinong makakalimot sa 125 million na confidential funds na ginastos lamang sa loob ng 11 araw? Ang paggamit ng confidential funds nakabatay sa pinakamataas na antas ng tiwala na ang opisyal, ang opisina na humahawak nito ay gagamitin lamang ang confidential at intelligence para sa layuning pinaglaanan at mahigpit na susunod sa mga batas at mga patakaran. Ngunit winasak ang tiwalang ito. Nabigong magsumite ng kompleto at maayos na liquidation reports sa COA. At mas masahol, may mga huwad na accomplishment reports at gawa-gawa acknowledgement receipts. Ayon sa reklamo, sa ilalim ng kanyang utos, may mga tauhang nagpeke ng mga dokumentong isinumite mismo sa COA upang magmukhang may mga activities o pangyayaring naganap kahit pa wala naman. Ang ganitong gawain ay hindi simpleng issue lamang sa paperwork, kundi pagsira sa integridad ng mga institusyon at pagnanakaw sa karapatan ng mamamayan na malaman ang katotohanan. Dagdag pa, ang sadyang pagtanggi na kilalanin ang oversight function ng Kongreso ay pagbaluktot sa mga sistema ng pagbabantay sa kapangyarihan. Ang tinatawag na pusit na taktika, pag-iwas o paglusot para lumabo ang usapan sa mga budget hearings at ang pag-utos na hindi dumalo ang buong OVP sa mga pagdinig ay pagyurak sa isang kapantay na sangay ng pamahalaan at tangkang at pilit na umiwas sa pananagutan. Taong bayan ang biktima ng pagwawaldas at paglulustay ng pondo na kaugnay nito. Mga ordinaryong mamamayan na nagpapagod at makapagbayad ng patong-patong na buwis. Mga ordinaryong mamamayan na sa araw-araw ay umaasa na ang kanilang pinaghihirapan sa araw-araw ay makikita sa mga serbisyong abot kamay at may kalidad. Sa edukasyon, sa kalusugan, sa pabahay, at marami pang ibang serbisyong panlipunan na lubos na kinakailangan ng taong bayan. Habang hirap na hirap ang ordinaryong kababaihan sa pagbabudget sa araw-araw, limpak-limpak na salapi pala ang winawaldas lamang ng ating mga pinakamatataas na opisyal. At habang daang-daang milyong piso ang mabilis na winawaldas para sa mga lihim na gastusin, nananatiling kulang na kulang ang mga silid-aralan, mababa ang sahod at suportang natatanggap ng mga guro at mag-aaral. Kaya naman, malinaw ang pattern ng pagkakanulo sa tiwala ng publiko, ang pag-abuso sa kapangyarihan, pamimeke ng mga record at pagharang sa pananagutan. Kaya mariin namin hinihikayat ang komite na ito at ang buong kapulungan, suportahan natin ang reklamong ito upang pairalin ang prinsipyong walang sino man, gaano man kataas ang posisyon, ang makaiiwas sa pananagutan. Walang sino man, gaano man kataas ang posisyon, ang higit sa batas at higit sa interes ng sambayan ng Pilipino. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Honorable Ilago. That completes the endorsers of the first impeachment complaint. I understand that I made mention about the sponsorship speech for the second impeachment complaint, referred to as D et al. Impeachment complaint, endorsed by Honorable Representative De Lima and Honorable Representative Percy Sendanya. Nevertheless, I wish to share to the committee that the chair is in receipt of the letter from our endorsers, Congressman Sendanya and Congresswoman De Lima. I am likewise in receipt of letter from the complainants of the same impeachment complaint, the D et al. Impeachment complaint. And for this matter, we are directing the committee secretariat to kindly provide copy of these two letters to the justice members. The letters apparently manifest the withdrawal of the endorsement of this impeachment complaint, that is for Congressman Sendanya and Congresswoman De Lima. They are manifesting as well their support to the third impeachment complaint, the one filed by Reverend Father Joel Sabalya et al. For the letter of the complainants of the second impeachment complaint, they are making the same manifestation of their intention to withdraw the impeachment complaint, as well as their intention to support the third impeachment complaint filed by the same Reverend Father Joel Sabalya. For this matter, I wish to request for confirmation first from our endorsers. So the chair recognize the Honorable Sendanya first, and then the Honorable De Lima.
Yes, Madam Chair, we confirm that the letters that you are in receipt of came from our offices and that these were duly signed by the complainants from the second impeachment complaint. And in this light, Madam Chair, may I make a short manifestation?
You may continue, Honorable Sendanya.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Magandang umaga po sa ating mga kasama dito sa Committee of Justice at sa ating pong mga guests ngayong araw na ito, sa mga kababayan na ating nag-aabang kasi 2 years in the making na ang pagpapanagot sa ating Vice Presidente. I wish to manifest that upon serious consultation with the petitioners of the second impeachment complaint, I and Representative De Lima endorse, they intend to withdraw their case and instead throw their support behind the third impeachment complaint. Gumawa po sila ng formal na liham na nilagdaan ng lahat ng complainants, 17 in all, at ang ilan po ay kasama natin dito ngayon sa loob ng bulwagan at isinumite sa komite at gayon din sa Office of the Secretary General. Kasama ng mga complainants na iskondiinan na hindi ito pag-urong, kundi pagpapatuloy ng kanilang sinimulan. Kung matatandaan po ng ating mga kababayan, higit 1 taon na ang nakararaan. From the beginning, their intent in filing was clear. Build the strongest case that will hold Vice President Sara Duterte accountable for her acts of corruption and abuse of power. Their support for the third impeachment complaint well advances this goal and ensures that an airtight and strong case will be the product of the committee's deliberations. In essence, the second impeachment complaint is similar to the thus, this committee will be spared from prolonging this process. Every minute and every hour we prolong this impeachment gives the Vice President another opportunity to look for loopholes to evade accountability again and again. Ngayong wala na ang second impeachment, sa katunayan, mas pinabilis nito ang proseso ng impeachment sa ating komite. Ngayon pa lang, may ibang kaalyado na ang Vice President na natutuwa at nagdiriwang dahil nag-withdrawn ang second impeachment complaint. Thinking this shows a weakening of the case against her. Pasensya na po kung babasagin ko ang inyong trip. Mas pinadadali nga po natin ang pag-i-impeach sa kanya. With one less complaint, we are now expediting Vice President Sara Duterte's long-delayed day of accountability. Madam Chair, dear colleagues, higit sa isang taon na mula noong pinendorso ko ang unang impeachment complaint noong December 2, 2024. Our complainants have patiently waited and have shown their unwavering commitment to the truth, justice, and accountability. Naghihintay sila ng matagal na sagutin ni VP Sara ang aligasyon laban sa kanya. And hopefully, their long wait will not be for naught. Tuloy ang laban, and as Deputy Minority Leader and ex-official member of this committee, I fully trust that this committee will decide on the merits of this case. Nang sa wakas, ay mahatid na natin ito hanggang sa Senado. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Sendanya. Now we will hear from the Honorable De Lima in line with the letter withdrawing the impeachment complaint.
Madam Chair, may I just make a...
May we hear first the endorser, Honorable Nasal. The Honorable De Lima is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, honorable colleagues, this representation likewise confirms the intention of the complainants in the D et al. Complaint, the first complaint, to withdraw their complaint. And that is manifested by the filing of both the letter seeking withdrawal and also the letter of the endorsers seeking likewise the withdrawal. Sa pagsampa ng reklamong impeachment noong February 2, malinaw ang pakay ni Kiko D et al. Kasama niya, D and mga kasama niya. Mapanagot sa mga akusasyon ng katiwalian at paglabag sa batas ng pangalawang Pilipino. Grupo rin nila ang naghain ng isa sa 3 impeachment complaints. In fact, sila po yung una noong isang taon, kung saan ako ay tumayo pang tagapagsalita nito. Gaya ng marami, natuwa sila na naihain ng Kongreso, ng House, ang Articles of Impeachment sa Senado. Tulad din ng marami, nabahala sila sa pagkabalahaw o pagka-stock ng kaso sa Senado bilang impeachment court. Gaya ng marami, nanlumo sila. Desisyon ng Korte Suprema na isang tabi on technicality yung Articles of Impeachment and transmit ng Kamara. Alam po nila ang proseso ng impeachment. Alam nila na kailangan makakuha ng sapat na bilang sa sapat na panahon upang maitawid ang reklamo mula sa komite, papuntang plenaryo, at mula plenaryo ay madala ang Articles of Impeachment sa Senado sa lalong madaling panahon. Siyempre po, sila ay umaasa na may kasabay na panalangin na sana this time, this year, this Congress, lilitisin na forthwith sa impeachment court ang pangalawang Pangulo. Conscious sa tumatakbong oras at sa kinakailangan bilang sa komite, plenaryo sa Senado or sa Senado, pinag-isipang maigi ng mga complainants kung ano ang mabisang estratehiya at mainam na mga taktika upang umusad ng mabilis at mas epektibo ang reklamong impeachment. In the statement that they released yesterday, the complainants D et al. Informed the public that they have decided to withdraw the case while committing to lend their full support behind the 3rd impeachment complaint containing the same grave allegations and substantial evidence as theirs. Incidentally, the 3rd complaint was likewise endorsed by this representative. According to the complainants, quote, consolidating our support behind the 3rd complaint will strengthen our position and help move the case forward to the Senate impeachment court. We believe that the impeachment process must proceed at the earliest possible time, free from procedural limbo and unnecessary legal delays that would otherwise obstruct the process. End of quote. Sang-ayon po tayo rito. Sang-ayon po kami ni Representative Sendanya as endorsers. Sa katunayan, humahanga po tayo sa naging pasya nila na iurong na lang ang kanilang reklamo para bigyang daan at masuportahan ang kaparehong kaso na isinampa ng 3rd set of complainants para mag-consolidate ang efforts, mapibilis ang usad ng impeachment. In short, the complainants in the 2nd complaint, D et al. Complaint, are withdrawing the complaint in order to secure more significant and strategic gains down the line, which includes the streamlining of the proceedings and cutting down of some precious time that could have been consumed by needless consideration, needless debate, as well as procedural delays and detours that this Congress and the people could no longer afford. In the final analysis, it does not matter much to the complainants, whose name will be in the end credits, so to speak, because they are still interested parties. Their sights have always been set on a fixed goal: impeach the Vice President and hold her accountable for the grave offenses she committed against the Filipino people. Here, now, to paraphrase the lyrics of a song, I don't care how we'll get there, just get there while we can. And so, I make of record and manifest that D et al. Are withdrawing their impeachment complaint. This confirms the letter that they have filed earlier with this committee, as reiterated by this representation and Representative Percy Sandanya in our separate letter that we have also filed with this committee. I so respectfully manifest, Madam Chair, maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Honorable De Lima. Just to put it on record, the chair is in possession of this letter dated March 2, 2026, signed by the Honorable Congressman Sandanya and the Honorable Congresswoman De Lima. May I request the Secretariat to please bring the endorsers just to confirm for the record that this is the letter of the withdrawal of their endorsement of the second impeachment complaint.
Madam Chair. May I just
Honorable
make a
Nasal,
point of
may we
clarification?
finish first the presentation of the withdrawal of the impeachment complaint so as not to disrupt the presentation of their intentions?
Thank you,
Thank you.
Madam
I
Chair.
will call you after the complainants.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
While we are waiting for the confirmation, we would like to acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Deputy Speaker Janet J. Garin, the Honorable Congressman Z. Alonto Adjong from the 1st District of Lanao del Sur, and the Honorable Congresswoman Maria Rene Ann Lourdes Matibag from the 1st District of Laguna. May we hear the confirmation of the Honorable Sandanya?
We confirm, Madam Chair.
Thank you. The Honorable De Lima?
This representation likewise confirmed, Madam
We
Chair.
place on the record that the endorsers confirm that the letters withdrawing the endorsement are the same letters that they sent to the Justice Committee. Of course, we understand that this is a formal proceedings. The complaint is likewise under oath, so we want to do it in the proper way as well. There is a letter withdrawing the complaint signed by the complainants, but we would like them to formally confirm this letter the same way that the endorser confirmed of the endorsement of the second impeachment complaint. So for this matter, we would like to recognize the complainants, signatories of this withdrawal of the impeachment complaint contained in the letter dated March 2, 2026, to confirm the withdrawal of the second impeachment complaint. Perhaps with the indulgence of the members, we are calling Francisco Joseph Aquino D, Sylvia Estrada Claudio Teresita Quintos Deles, Eugene Louis Gonzalez, Maria Yvonne Cristina Teresa, Father Flavio Villanueva, Father Robert Pagia Reyes, Sister Susan Santos Esmile, Carl Patrick Sukat, Lea Lopez Navarro, Matthew Christian Silverio, Teodoro B. Bagilat, Ezekiel Ven Rivera, Ana Kubakob, Alicia Murphy, and Rowena Amon, and Joshua Fred Tolentino Mata. Kindly approach the microphone. Complainants, please. Perhaps Mr. Francisco Joseph Aquino D can speak for the complainants, but kindly approach our conference table. I am requesting the COMSEC to administer the oath to our complainants. This is a very significant intervening event that the complainants are withdrawing the impeachment complaint and the endorsers are likewise withdrawing their endorsement of the same impeachment complaint. That's why we want to do it formally, the same way that they filed this impeachment complaint. COMSEC, kindly administer the oath. Please
Madam
raise
Chair,
your
Madam-
records of our committee meeting today.
So we don't need to ask them any more questions, Madam Chair.
No,
Okay.
just a confirmation of the withdrawal that they are doing right now. A confirmation of the withdrawal that they are doing right now through this letter.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Ajong. The COMSEC is directed to administer the oath.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth before this committee?
I so
Please answer. Thank you.
Thank you, COMSEC. Now the chair is in possession of the letter signed by the complainants. I already mentioned your names. This is dated March 2, 2026. May we hear for the record that you are confirming the withdrawal of this impeachment complaint. I hope you understand. This is a very significant intervening event because this is an impeachment complaint that even before it is heard, you wish to withdraw already. So may we recognize the Mr. Francisco Joseph D. I'm sorry.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. On behalf of the 17 complainants of the second complaint, with me are myself and 7 other complainants now. I'm confirming our intention to withdraw our impeachment complaint.
Thank you. For the record as well, we are directing the committee secretariat to kindly hand this letter to Mr. D for them to confirm that this is the same letter withdrawing their impeachment complaint.
Madam Chair, we confirm that this is a letter that we submitted this morning.
Thank you, Mr. D. In the presence of the justice members and all the Filipino people who are watching right now, Mr. D, in behalf of all the complainants, is confirming the letter of withdrawal of their impeachment complaint.
Madam Chair.
Thank you, complainants. You may take your seat. The Honorable Flores is recognized.
Madam Chair, in view of the withdrawal and the confirmation by the complainant D et al. That they are withdrawing the impeachment complaint, as well as the withdrawal of the endorsement by Representative Percival Sendanya and that of Representative Leila de Lima, I move that the committee accept and approve the withdrawal of the said complaint, Madam Chair.
There is a motion to accept and approve the withdrawal of the impeachment complaint. Do I hear a second?
Madam Chair.
The same has been seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion to approve, to accept and approve the withdrawal of the second impeachment complaint referred to as D et al. Is hereby approved. Before I call you Honorable Dumogan, I will call first the Honorable Nasal. The Honorable Nasal is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Kaya I just wanted to raise a point of clarification. With due respect to our colleagues, may we see clarification lang po propriety of the proceeding with sponsorship speeches by the representatives who filed the impeachment complaints in light of the Supreme Court's final and executory ruling declaring the Feb 5, 2025 articles of impeachment unconstitutional for violating the one-year bar under Article 11, Section 3, Paragraph 5 of the Constitution. Given that the Supreme Court has already affirmed with finality that no new impeachment complaint may be commenced earlier than Feb 6, 2026, reckoning from Feb 5, 2025 as the operative date, and considering that there are 2 complaints, one na lang, were filed on Feb 2, 2026, it would appear that the constitutional one-year prohibition may still be subsisting. So in this regard, Madam Chair, may this committee first determine whether the complaints presently under consideration were filed in accordance with the Constitution timeline as affirmed by the Supreme Court. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Honorable Nasal, the committee notes your manifestation, but it is believed that the discussion as to whether or not it was filed within 1 year, beyond the 1-year prohibition period, should be part of our determination of sufficiency in form, because that constitutes the timeliness of filing the impeachment complaint. Nonetheless, your manifestation is duly noted. We will come to that, Honorable Nasal.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. The Honorable Vice Chair Dumogan is also raising his hand.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Please be guided that we are still on the sponsorship speeches.
Yes,
We just heard the endorsers and the complainants on the withdrawal of the second impeachment complaint. We haven't reached yet the determination of sufficiency in form. We're still hearing the sponsorship speeches.
that's correct, Madam Chair. But before I will go to that, I like to take advantage of the presence of the complainants who had just withdrawn. To me, it's very important to affirm their allegations.
You would like to make a manifestation on their withdrawal because the withdrawal has been accepted and approved.
Yes, Your Honor. But it has nothing to do with the withdrawal. They will withdraw just the same. But I just like them to affirm the second paragraph of their stated their withdrawal, that they are withdrawing the complaint because they are supporting the third complaint.
Yes, the same has been confirmed earlier, Honorable Vice Chair Dumogan.
Yeah. Second, Madam Chair, we are at the stage of determining sufficiency in...
Not yet, Honorable Dumogan. We're still hearing the sponsorship speeches of the endorsers.
Yes.
We will come to that in a while.
That's why, if we go to the determination of sufficiency in form and we have the sponsorship is somewhat geared already in the determination of the sufficiency in substance. Why can we not limit whether or not it is sufficient in form so that later on we can now proceed with the determination of sufficiency in substance. Otherwise, we are prolonging the proceedings. They can expound when we will go to the issue of sufficiency in substance. At this point in time, whether the complaints has allegations which can be considered as impeachable offense, without going to the merits. Second, is it verified and the verifications is based on personal knowledge or authentic documents? That's all that we are going to determine, and including possibly the 1-year bar rule. Those are the only thing to me that we are going to determine, so that when we will go to the sufficiency and substance, that will be the time we will take the allegation.
Honorable Vice Chair Dumogan, I understand that you are very much eager to reach the discussion of the sufficiency in form. Nevertheless, please understand that they are the endorsers of the impeachment complaint. And of course, we understand that the sponsorship speech is supposed to support the entire impeachment complaint, not necessarily the form and the substance alone. Nonetheless, your manifestation, Vice Chair Dumogan, is very much noted by the committee. So with the indulgence of all the members, the Honorable Kong Joboy Aquino.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just like a short manifestation, Madam Chair. I commend the Honorable Congresswoman and the Akbayan Party List for its courage and sound judgment in withdrawing the complaint in deference to prevailing legal considerations and in giving way for the other impeachment complaints to proceed with the committee's determination as to sufficiency and both form and substance. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Are there any other Justice members who wish to manifest? The Honorable Erice is recognized.
This is somehow a parliamentary inquiry. Since we approved the withdrawal and their support for the third impeachment complaint, will they be the part of the complainants in the third impeachment complaints? Thank you.
It is believed, Honorable Erice, that the letter manifests only their support to the third impeachment complaint, but it does not necessarily make the complainant's party to the third impeachment complaint.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
And Madam Chair, further,
The Honorable Rodriguez.
thank you. Further in answer to that, it is not because the filing has already been done,
Correct.
so there can be no additional. It will be already a deviation of what we have in the committee now if we allow those who have withdrawn to become complainants or the endorsers to be included as endorsers. It is now time. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Rodriguez.
Madam Chair.
The Honorable Chel Jokno.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a brief manifestation. First, a commendation to the complainants led by Sir Francis Kiko D for withdrawing the complaint. The Committee on Justice can now focus on doing its job instead of time arguing over technicalities. I also commend the complainants for their vigorous and relentless pursuit of accountability. They have demonstrated a deep concern for public responsibility. And therefore, Madam Chair, I move that the committee recognize them merely as interested parties, as they have shown that interest over the last several years, and also allowed to observe our proceedings, not just today, but in the future. So move, Madam Chair.
Honorable Rodriguez, would you like to comment to the motion of the Honorable Jokno?
Well,
Moving to consider the complainants as interested party in our current impeachment process.
no need to consider them as interested parties, but they can come here. Of course, they're interested and we're open. This is always public proceedings. And so we don't need to officially make them participants in this because they are not official participants, because only the endorsers and the complainants are official participants and the committee members. But certainly, we welcome those who have withdrawn from the second complaint to be present all the time, as this is a public proceedings. Thank you, Madam Chair.
In addition to the earlier manifestation of the Honorable Rodriguez, it is understood that the initiation process has been completed already, as it triggers the running of the one-year prohibition period, which likewise means that we cannot change as to the parties to the impeachment complaint, no? Nevertheless, they are very much welcome, as stated already by the Honorable Rodriguez, to participate in to witness the proceeding at any stage of the same, no? They can come and witness our entire impeachment proceeding. Honorable Jokno, would you still like to push your motion?
I will respectfully withdraw the motion.
Thank you,
Thank the
Honorable
committee.
Jokno. Thank you. If there are no other manifestations, I would like to acknowledge first the Honorable Congressman Stephen James Tan from the 1st District of Samar. Thank you for coming. And the Honorable Congressman Paulo Henry M. Marcoleta from Sagip Party List. We wish to acknowledge as well the presence of Deputy Speaker Bambi Imano. Thank you for coming, sir. We would like to proceed to hear the sponsorship speeches. We are now on the third impeachment complaint, and we recognize the Honorable Laila De Lima to deliver her sponsorship speech of the third impeachment complaint, referred to as Sabala et al. Impeachment complaint. You may proceed, Congresswoman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, honorable members of this committee, I am honored to be the endorser of the verified impeachment complaint filed by Reverend Father Joel Sabalya et al. Against Vice President Sara Zimmerman Duterte. Let me be clear at the outset. This endorsement is not a declaration of guilt. It is not a politically motivated gesture. It is not a personal act. It is a constitutional duty. The Constitution entrusted this House with this responsibility precisely for moments like this, when serious, detailed, and grave allegations are placed before us. Katulad na lamang ng verified complaint na ito ngayon, ito ay tahasang nagsasaad ng mga sumusunod na mabibigat na sakdal. Una, that a Vice President committed culpable violation of the Constitution and betrayed the public trust by committing plunder and or malversation, graft and corruption, and other high crimes sa umano'y pag-amas at pag-convert ng hindi bababa sa 500 million pesos mula sa confidential funds ng Office of the Vice President para sa 2022 at 2023. Hindi maliit na halaga ang kalahating bilyong piso. Hindi ito simpleng administrative lapse. Ito ay pondo ng taong bayan. Ikalawa, that she committed culpable violation of the Constitution and betrayed the public trust sa umano'y pagkamkam at pag-convert ng hindi bababa sa 112,500,000 mula sa confidential funds ng Department of Education noong 2023 in her concurrent capacity as DepEd Secretary. Ang pondo para sa edukasyon, para sa mga bata, para sa kinabukasan, ay hindi maaaring mabalot ng pagdududa at kakulangan at mga questionableng dokumentasyon. Ikatlo, that she committed culpable violation of the Constitution and betrayed the public trust by corrupting and bribing officials of the Department of Education. If envelopes containing cash were indeed distributed to influence official actions, that is not merely an ethical lapse, it is a direct assault on public trust. Ikaapat, that she committed culpable violation of the Constitution, betrayed the public trust, and committed high crimes in contracting to murder or assassinate the President, the First Lady, and the former Speaker of the House. Kung ang isang halal na pinuno ay hayagang nagsabing siya ay nakipag-usap sa isang assassin para patayin mismong Pangulo ng Republika, hindi ito retorika lamang. Masagwa pa rito. Hindi lamang ang nagplano ng pagpatay ay ordinaryong kawani ng gobyerno, ordinaryong Pilipino, kundi ang pangalawang Pangulo, ang successor ng mismong pinapapatay niya. Saang panig ng mundo o ibang mga bansa nakakita na merong napakataas na opisyal, yung pangalawang Pangulo, na lantarang nagbanta sa buhay ng pinakamataas na opisyal? Ito ay malinaw na usapin ng pambansang seguridad. Ito ay usapin ng katatagan ng ating pamahalaan. Ito ay usapin ng paggalang sa mismong konstitusyong kanyang sinumpaan. Ikalima, that she committed culpable violation of the Constitution and betrayed the public trust in amassing unexplained wealth and failing to disclose all her properties and interests in her SAL-Ns, alinsunod sa Section 17, Article 11 of the 1987 Constitution. Ang SAL-N ay hindi dekorasyon. Ito ay mekanismo ng transparency. Kapag may malaking pagtaas ng yaman na hindi maipaliwanag ng sapat, at kapag may mga nakatagong yaman tungkulin ng institusyon na siyasatin ito. Ika-anim, that she by herself and or in concert with others committed culpable violation of the Constitution and betrayed the public trust in committing acts of political destabilization and the high crimes of sedition and insurrection. Ang panunumpa sa konstitusyon ay hindi simboliko. Ito ay panata ng katapatan sa Republika. Kung may mga kilos o pahayag na nag-uudyot ng panghihimasok o paghihimagsik o destabilization laban sa halal na pamahalaan, hindi maaaring ipagwalang bahala yon. To support those grounds, six specific grounds, complainant Sabali et al. Made a detailed recital of facts, which were mainly matters of public record and knowledge that were clearly constitutive of the enumerated offenses. Consideredly, most of the factual allegations and the annexes in the Sabalia et al. Complaint were the same as those contained in the articles of impeachment that were sent to the Senate in February 2025. Those articles were endorsed by more than 1/3 of the membership of the 19th Congress, numbering 215 representatives at that time. Fortunately, many of those endorsers are still members of the current Congress. Therefore, I have to say, it is absurd to downplay now the pieces of evidence contained in Sabali et al. And the other impeachment complaints, precisely because these are exactly the same accusations and evidence that caused the Vice President's impeachment last year. Nothing changed. The grounds, the facts, and the evidence remained valid. This should still be enough to impeach her in this time. In fact, in the case of Duterte versus House of Representatives, GR number 278353, both in the Supreme Court's original decision of July 25, 2025, and the January 28, 2026 resolution on the motion for reconsideration, it was underscored, sabi na rin po ito ng ating Madam Chair, that the Vice President was not absolved. In the High Tribunal's own words, quote, at the House's discretion, the grounds raised in the articles of impeachment may again be raised based on any evidence that may have been discovered, if any, end of quote. As to the opinion of some people that there are no smoking guns in this and other complaints, I beg to disagree, Madam Chair. The video containing the Vice President's threat to kill the President, the First Lady, and then House Speaker, as well as the media interview where she affirmed it, is a smoking gun. The numerous documents evidencing payments or the debts with fictitious names are smoking guns. Sabalia et al.'s complaint is replete with many other documentary evidence which are also smoking guns. And even assuming, without conceding, that the evidence in the articles are not or no longer smoking guns, we have them this time. We will produce them in the form of compelling testimonies and newly discovered material evidence. One more time with feelings, as the lyrics of a song go. I reiterate, this House has impeached Vice President Sara Duterte before. The records are clear. This House already determined at least once that the allegations against her were serious enough to trigger the constitutional process. So I ask, respectfully but directly, what has changed? Have the allegations disappeared? Have the official reports and audit findings been withdrawn? Have the sworn testimonies before the previous House hearings been recanted? Or is the only material development the public declaration that the Vice President may seek the presidency? May tulad ba ito sa isang supervening event sa law on obligations and contracts, yung madalas ding tawagin sa batas na fortuitous event, na pangyayaring hindi inasahan o kung inasahan man ay hindi naiwasan, that had already rendered the performance of an obligation impossible or extremely difficult? Pero sandali lang po. Hindi ordinaryong obligasyon at pansariling interes ang nakataya rito sa impeachment process. Nakasalalay rito ang sinumpaang tungkulin natin sa ating bayan at sa ating saligang batas. Kaya kung wala namang nagbago sa mga facts at sa batas, anong dahilan para magbago ang paninindigan? O mas malala pa, anong rason para tuluyang mawala ang paninindigan? If we found the allegations sufficient before by transmitting the articles of impeachment to the Senate, then consistency and principled conviction demand that we uphold what this House had firmly decided on before. Hindi maaaring mag-iba ang ating pasya kung hindi naman nagbago ang ebidensya. Our oath is to the Constitution, not to political convenience. Our loyalty should be to the Filipino people, to partisan interests. Public office is a public trust. That principle applies to every public officer without exception, without fear, without favor. For reasons grounded in constitutional fidelity and institutional responsibility, I urge the committee to allow the constitutional process to move forward. Let the evidence be tested. Let accountability be pursued. Let the Constitution prevail. And finally, so we pray that the lane we're treading here be paved with the same moral lines of truth and accountability that our people drew at EDSA 40 years ago. We pray that as we traverse this path now, as representatives of the people, we be mindful of those constitutional boundaries, those limits of integrity, honesty, and decency that the Filipinos have set against power and privilege. For crossing those moral lines, for desecrating those constitutional boundaries, let us impeach Vice President Sara Zimmerman Duterte. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Honorable De Lima. Now we shall hear the sponsorship speech Honorable Sedano, would you like to make a sponsorship speech as well? No. This is only Congresswoman De Lima. All right. Now we proceed to the fourth impeachment complaint. This is the Cabrera impeachment complaint. Our endorsers are the Honorable Deputy Speaker Ortega and Congressman Benny Abante. DS Paulo Ortega is recognized to deliver his sponsorship speech. Maybe you can use Kong Chel's microphone first. Paige, kindly address the microphone.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Honorable Abante has agreed to let me experience the senior citizen lane, a courtesy lane for today's endorsement statement. Honorable Chairperson Jervil Luistro, honorable members of the Committee on Justice, our esteemed guests, public whom we serve, naimbaga bigat tayo amin na po. Tayo ay naging isang bansang labis ang pagkahati-hati hanggang sa makalimutan na natin ang pagdating sa paglilingkod sa bayan. Dapat managot ang sinuman o anumang kulay ng politika na kanyang kinakabilangan. Ang pananagutan ay nangangahulugang paglalantad sa mali at paglalabag sa matagal nang umiiral at patuloy na sumisira sa ating institusyon. Now is the moment ripe for remembrance that it was nearly 4 years ago that the Vice President stood before us, raised her hand and pledged faithfully and conscientiously to fulfill her duties as a Vice President of our country, preserve and demand our Constitution, execute our laws, do justice for every man, and consecrate herself to the service of the nation. Nakakalungkot po na isipin na nakalipas na po ang halos 4 na taon mula nung ipahayag. Ang mga pangakong iyon ay mukhang hindi naman natutupad. Sa kasalukuyan, ang Vice Presidente ay nahaharap sa mga aligasyon at paratang ng pagtataksil sa tiwalang ipinagkaloob sa kanya ng taong bayan. Mga aligasyon na hinggil sa umiiral na kultura at panunuhol at ibang katiwaliang matagal nang sumisira sa integridad ng ating institusyon. Culpable violation of the Constitution, betrayal of public trust, graft and corruption at iba pang mabibigat na krimen. Under letter A, sufficiency in form, Honorable Chairperson Luistro and the honorable members of the Justice Committee, batay sa ating rules of procedure in impeachment proceedings, upon due referral, this committee shall determine whether the impeachment complaint is sufficient in form. Kaugnay nito, ang isang impeachment complaint ay kinakailangan na may kalakip na verification that the complainant has read the complaint and that the allegations are true and correct for his personal knowledge or based on authentic records. To this end, I invite the attention of the Honorable Committee to pages 71 and 72 of the verification page that the fourth impeachment complaint or the Cabrera complaint pursual of the pages show that this complaint has been duly verified by the complainant himself, Attorney Nathaniel G. Cabrera, on the 18th of February 2026, under oath that the complainant deposed that he read and understood the contents of the complaint and that the allegations of the complaint are true and correct based upon personal knowledge and based upon authentic documents of the same date, and the verification is also duly notarized. Page 70 of the fourth impeachment complaint shows that it was signed by Attorney Nathaniel Cabrera. Higit pa rito, bilang bahagi ng formal na proseso, ako at si Representative Bienvenido M. Abante Jr. ay pumasa ng isang resolusyon of endorsement dated February 18, 2026, duly subscribed and sworn before the Honorable Secretary General Attorney Cheloy E. Villacaria Garafil. Madam Chair, it is respectfully submitted that the fourth impeachment complaint of the Cabrera complaint is sufficient in form and that it be allowed to proceed to the next stage of the proceedings. Maraming salamat po, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker Paulo Ortega. Our parliamentary status, we have concluded on the sponsorship speeches. The remaining impeachment complaints. Those include the first impeachment complaint, referred to as Castro et al. Impeachment complaint. The third impeachment complaint, referred to as Father Zabalia et al. Impeachment complaint. And the fourth impeachment complaint, referred to as Cabrera impeachment complaint. I state for the record and for the guidance of all the justice members who just came, the second impeachment complaint has been withdrawn already by the complainants. Now we shall proceed to determine the sufficiency in substance. For the guidance of all the members, I'm just testing if you are all listening. For the guidance of all the members, I wish to summarize the process that will happen in the Justice Committee into 5. The first step is the determination of sufficiency in form. The second step is the determination of the sufficiency in substance. The third step, which is subject to the condition that the impeachment complaints are declared sufficient both in form and in substance, we shall issue the notice to the respondent for her to file an answer within a period of 10 calendar days, in which case the complainant is given as well a period of 3 days to file their reply, and from the date of reply, receipt of reply, the respondent is likewise given the period of 3 days to file their rejoinder. On this step 3, we will determine if there is sufficient basis that supports the impeachment complaint. If in the affirmative, we shall proceed to step 4, and that is the hearing proper, where we will be inviting the complainants, the witnesses, and even the respondents. After the hearing proper, we will decide on step 5. That is the determination of probable cause, the existence of probable cause, which shall be determined by the majority vote of all the members of the Justice Committee. That includes the ex officio members. The Honorable Abante. May we know the pleasure of the Honorable Abante? Would you like to make your endorsement also, sponsorship speech? I thought you gave that opportunity to T.S. Paulo Ortega. That's why I did not recognize you anymore. Nonetheless, let us hear the sponsorship speech of the Honorable Bishop Abante for the fourth impeachment complaint, that is Cabrera impeachment complaint. You may proceed. Ay, iba.
Mike.
Oo.
Nabutahe yata.
Sound check.
Ayan.
Ayan. Alright. Alright. Magandang umaga po. Madam Chair, distinguished colleagues, mga kababayan, mga kapwa ko endorsers, magandang umaga sa inyo lahat. Alam nyo, ako po'y mahilig maglagay ng titulo sa aking mga speeches. At ang title po ng aking speech today is Duty, Honor, Principle. Tatlo po yan. Martin Luther King Jr. said, and I quote, "The ultimate tragedy is not the oppression and cruelty by the bad people, but the silence over that by the good people." End of quote. Madam Chair, there are moments in public life when silence is convenient and silence is strategic, when silence is safer. But there are also moments when silence becomes complicity, when to look away is to participate, when to remain quiet is to permit the erosion of the very constitution
we swore to defend. I endorse this fourth impeachment complaint with Congressman Paulo Ortega, not out of anger, not out of partisanship, not out of personal animus. I endorse the fourth impeachment complaint because the allegations before us are grave and quite serious. Because at the heart of constitutional order. Because they involve the alleged misuse of hundreds of millions in confidential funds. Because they involve sworn affidavits, co-op findings, documentary irregularities, and most chilling of all, public admissions that if true, undermine the sanctity of lawful succession and the stability of government. We are not here to convict. We are not here to persecute. We are not even here to prejudge. Here to determine sufficiency in form and sufficiency in substance. But allow me to stress that sufficiency is not a trivial threshold. It is a constitutional gate. And when detailed, documented allegations are placed before us, allegations of betrayal of public trust, culpable violation of the Constitution, graft and corruption, and other high crimes, this committee does not have the luxury of indifference because public office is a public trust. These words are not ornamental, Madam Chair. They are not decorative language placed in our Constitution for ceremonial speeches. They are a command, a standard, a warning. When confidential funds are alleged to have been encashed in vast sums and liquidated in implausible time frames, when audit findings raise red flags, when sworn testimony describes physical transfers of cash outside normal channels, when public statements threaten the very officers named in our Constitution, we cannot say this is inconvenient. We cannot say this is politically difficult. We cannot say let someone else handle it. Why? Because this is our constitutional duty. If the complaint is defective in form, we will say so. If it lacks ultimate facts, we will say so. If it fails the standards required by the Constitution, we will say so. But if it meets the threshold, if it alleges ultimate facts supported by sworn statements and documentary annexes, sufficient to warrant investigation, then we must allow the process to proceed. For the power of impeachment, Madam Chair, my dear colleagues, is not a weapon. It is a safeguard. It is not vengeance. It is accountability. It is not politics. It is constitutional order at work. History will not ask whether this was politically comfortable. History will ask whether we were faithful to our oath. We swore to preserve and defend the Constitution, not selectively, Madam Chair, not conditionally, not when it is convenient,
If we remain silent in the face of serious allegations against one of the highest officials of the land, then we are not neutral. We are negligent. This hearing is not about personalities. It is about principle. It is not about ambition. It is about accountability. It is not about 2028. It is about 1987. The Constitution. On. Let us therefore proceed with sobriety, as I beg this committee right now, Madam Chair. Let us proceed with fairness. Let us proceed without fear, because in the end, we answer not only to our colleagues, not only to our constituents, but to history and to God. Our scripture reminds us in Micah 6:8, and I quote, He hath showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy God. End of quote. Madam Chair, my dear colleagues, may we do justly, may we love mercy, and may we walk humbly as we discharge this solemn constitutional duty. Ay, maraming salamat po, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Abante. That finally concludes our sponsorship speeches. Honorable Suntay, if this concerns the sponsorship speech, because soon we will be proceeding to hear on the sufficiency in form, if that concerns form. Kindly use the microphone of the Honorable Patiernos. That's only the microphone. Page, kindly fix the microphone near to Honorable Suntay. Hello po, ayan. Iaabot. Okay.
Iabot.
Check this.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Well, Madam Chair, after hearing all the endorsers of the impeachment complaint, sangayon naman ako sa kanila dahil ang mga sinabi nga natin mga endorsers, there has been allegations now of misuse of hundreds of millions of public funds. Merong mga sworn affidavits, merong mga allegations na binitawan, merong usapin regarding betrayal of public trust, graft and corruption. Kagaya nga ng sinabi ni Congresswoman Renico, hindi dapat tayo matakot ungkatin ang katotohanan. At kagaya ng sinabi ng aking kaibigan, si Pastor Benny Abante, public office is a public trust. We should proceed with fairness and without fear. Bottom line, we have to be impartial. That's why I would like to raise this. In the light of serious allegations contained in a joint affidavit issued last February 23, that has been reportedly transmitted to the Office of the Ombudsman, there have been allegations that some members of Congress nakatanggap ng envelope, nakatanggap ng maleta, ito'y naibigay kung hindi sa opisina, sa townhouse.
Let me finish.
There's
You
a
will have
point
your
of
turn
order,
because
the
these are
Honorable
pairing.
Suntay.
This is not an allusion
Order.
to prejudge the veracity of the allegations.
Honorable Suntay, there is a point of order.
This is also a point
That
of
enjoys
order.
the highest
Mayor.
hierarchy among all the motions.
The relevancy of this speech, no.
Sufficiency in form.
Madam Chair, this is very relevant because we are
Please, Honorable Suntay, please wait until he finishes with his point of order. The Honorable Terry Ridon is recognized. Kindly use a microphone which is okay.
Madam Chair, the speech of our distinguished colleague is absolutely relevant to the question of sufficiency of form and substance in the matter. And more importantly, my understanding of what he's stating today is that he's probably accusing members of Congress, members of the House Committee on Justice, as receiving payments for the implementation of our mandate in the impeachment proceedings. So, which is which, Madam Chair? So I think his speech is out of order and this should be decided promptly by the committee.
Okay, we heard the point of order of the Honorable Terry Ridon. Now we shall hear the answer of the Honorable Suntay.
Yes, Madam Chair. Ang problema sa
Kindly
kaibigan ko,
justify the relevance of your statement to the
something
current
like that.
impeachment proceedings.
he is jumping the gun. This is actually relevant not only in the determination of form and substance. This is relevant in the impartiality, in determining the impartiality of this hearing, which is very important. Madam Chair, this is not an accusation. Kaya nga, kung hinintay lang ako patapusin, ewan ko bakit naman yung aking kaibigan nagagalaiti ka agad at concern na concern. You know, if we have nothing to hear, then we just listen. If we are not being alluded, why are we so guilty? So let me finish. The issue here is not to prejudge the veracity of the allegation. However, given the gravity of the potential impact on the credibility of the committee's proceeding, ang gusto ko maging malinaw lang po, hindi ko hinuhusgahan yung aking mga kasamahan o ipagpalagay na totoo ang mga aligasyon. Hindi rin po ito personal na laban sa sino man sa inyo. Sa katunayan, ang layunin ko ay kabaligtaran upang protektahan ng bawat isa sa inyo. Mabigat kasi may listahan na nilalabas Ang gusto ko po sa ganitong pagkakataon, Madam Chair, naniniwala ako na mas mabuti na tayo mismo ang magharap at maglinaw ng issue. Kaya maging kaysa maging bulong-bulungan pa ito. Bigyan natin ng pagkakataon bawat miyembro ng committee. Pagkakataon mismo na mag-assess ng kanilang sitwasyon or if they can be an impartial member of this committee. Yun lang. Kung sa tingin nila, they can be an impartial, then let's proceed. However, if they think that baka pagdudahan sila, pagdudahan yung lalabas dito na resulta, then let's allow them if they want to recuse.
Honorable Suntay, with all due respect, unless all your manifestations have complete relevance to the current impeachment proceedings, you're enjoined by the chair to proceeding to your manifestation.
That's why, Madam Chair.
Ordered.
Madam Chair, my point is just to...
Honorable Suntay, you're enjoined already by the chair to cease from making manifestations which are totally irrelevant to our current proceedings.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. But as I
Thank
mentioned,
you.
this goes to the impartiality of the committee.
You are
Thank you
assured
very
of the impartiality of the Justice Committee. Now we shall proceed to the determination of sufficiency in form. Thank you, Honorable Suntay. We will be suspending for 2 minutes to fix all the microphones.
Hanggang dito na lang guys. Ang ating live.